Yes, I played Wolfenstein 2009 after playing Old Blood and New Order and the Colossus. What are you gonna do, curse me? When I played the Old Blood, I thought that was the game I was supposed to play before the New Order. And it was right, but I didn't know there was a Wolfenstein 2009. I knew about the Return to Castle Wolfenstein and Wolfenstein 3D, but didn't really look it up about Wolfenstein games in order. So finally in 2021, I played this underrated game which felt a lot more unusual than the other 3 Wolfenstein games I played. I used to blast sci-fi Nazi bitches with my huge ass guns, and what am I doing now? Switching between dimensions? Slowing times? I mean, what the fuck? But also this game was just so much fun to play that I couldn't get up before finishing any level. A total of 10 missions and some side missions should take about 5 to 6 hours to complete. It takes place in a town named Eisenstadt where German Nazis are mining a rare Blackstone crystal that's apparently necessary to access the Blackstone Dimension. This Blackstone Dimension is what makes this game a lot more unique and interesting. You obviously play as BJ Blazkowicz, the main character of the entire Wolfenstein series. In the intro scene, Blazkowicz is seen in a general's disguise and getting caught by the Nazis and uses a mysterious medallion to destroy everyone. Later he finds out the medallion symbol, which resembles the Blackstone Dimension, was worshipped by a mystic clan. They were lost centuries ago, and then a group called Thule Society acquired it. The crystal which powers the medallion can only be found in Eisenstadt, and Blazkowicz was sent there to free the town from the Nazis. The crystals can be found throughout the town, which looks like someone's face floating in zero gravity. Standing on them replenishes the medallion's power. Before I go in and make a big documentary about this medallion, let me tell you how Blazkowicz gets it in the first place. In Eisenstadt, you get missions from mission giver in the town. In Midtown area, Blazkowicz gets missions from a chick called Caroline Becker, the leader of the Kreisau Circle. For your information, Kreisau Circle is a group who also wants to free Eisenstadt from the Nazis. So Becker sends Blazkowicz to the dig site. She says the word BJ a lot in my opinion. It can also mean something else, I guess.
Нет, BJ, нет!
And yeah, I played it on German language because it felt more authentic to me. I'm a weird person. Anyway, so Blazkowicz goes to the dig site and rescues a scholar, Sergei Kovlov. Blazkowicz finds a copy of the medallion there. The one which he got first was in the ship in the intro, but it was taken by the OSA headquarters. So Kovlov tells Blazkowicz to give him the Thule medallion, but Blazkowicz be like, mine now. Kovlov then gives him a Naxxon crystal, which I mentioned, the Germans were mining it. The crystal lets Blazkowicz enter the veil, which is the barrier between the real world and the outer dimension. Entering the veil, you can see creatures called Geist, who can help you kill enemies if you shoot them. The enemies also becomes more visible, especially in the dark. The outer dimension doesn't look too pretty. It looks like shit, to be honest, but it is what it is. As long as you get to slaughter the Nazis, it will be fine. The veil also reveals secret doors and paths you can take. There are symbols which indicates these secret paths. So Blazkowicz moves in and finds another crystal after fighting some Nazis. The other crystal, which is called Meyer, can slow down time. That shit is amazing. You can slow down time and then kill the enemies one by one so easily, but it's actually not so easy because the difficulty is literally shit in this game. I get the point that you are given superpowers and is kinda stronger, so there's a lot of enemies to kill, which balances the difficulty. I started this game with hard difficulty, which is bring 'em on, and I had to lower it after like 8 missions because my fucking god, the boss fights in this game is brutally nasty. Mad respect to them who played this on uber difficulty. I can't even imagine playing on that. There's a cool overview of the journal in the game which shows the maps, intels, upgrades and objectives. The objective can be changed anytime. You can select these objectives and start tracking them to do whichever you wanna do first. This gives the opportunity to do the side missions if you're interested. Oh, and the side missions don't just come out of nowhere. You have to go to mission givers to get them manually. A lot of times you would have to navigate through town just to get mission. Also, the town is always lurking with Nazis, so there wouldn't be any moment of peace. You get to use different kind of weapons like the casual rifles, MP40, MP43, Kar 98 for long range. These are old school guns and works well with almost everyone, but the weapons which obliterates are Tesla gun which electrocutes and stun enemies, particle cannon that can be found killing the robots with 3 red weak spots, Lycanphos 44 which uses veil energy to vaporize and levitate the enemies or objects. There's also a flamethrower which is fun to use, and it's somewhat funny that you cannot win a mano-a-mano with flamethrower Nazis because the flame literally covers your screen and your flame apparently does no damage, so basically just shoot them with other guns. Using these guns with the Empower Crystal sheds the enemy. You can recharge your Blackstone energy from 2 sources. One is the crystals on grounds and also the barrels that are found throughout the game. In the beginning, the enemies were normal Nazis who shoots bullets, then Nazis with supernatural abilities started showing up. These piece of shits are so annoying, I mean like really. First of all, he can put shields on 2 other enemies, so shooting the enemies won't be useful because of the shield, so you gotta go for the dude who is channeling the shield. He can also dash, showing 3 more illusions. He also throws Dragon Ball Z like shitballs at your face. They're tough to kill in hard difficulty, but as I am a monster in FPS games, it wasn't any big deal. Oh, I'm sorry, did you think that was it? Hell no, there's this invisible assassin guy who comes up to your face out of nowhere and starts stabbing you. Then there's this robot guy who has these weak points which I believe are batteries. Shooting 3 of them is a surefire way to kill them, but if you shoot his body for 3000 hours, it don't gonna help. The batteries aren't that hard to hit though. There's some zombie-like creatures who are actually easy to kill. Then we have Nazi bitches who moves really fast and uses different attack patterns. Occasionally red and green Nazi zombies or whatever the fuck those are appears, and I'm telling you, the red one, especially on the higher difficulties, is a pain in the nutsack. Anyways, now let's talk about the bosses. There's apparently 4 bosses in the game, I believe, and each of them has different abilities and powers. Before that, I think you should know that you get 2 more crystals, Empower and Shield. Empower increases your bullet damage and the other one shields you from taking damage. You collect golds and increase your money count and then buy upgrades of your medallion or weapon. IMO, the upgrades of medallion are really the one you wanna get. Okay, so the first boss you get is the general who basically turns into a monster and has shields. In hard difficulty, his one hit will give you the "you are wounded" warning. He takes crystal energy from the above crystal beams. When the beam opens, you can shoot them. It's pretty straightforward. The second boss needs a little bit more brain cells to finish. This monstrous beast can only be killed by letting him charge and hit himself in the 4 poles, which will destroy the veil portals. Seriously, this huge monster was bigger than Kim Kardashian's ass. Third boss fight is the Queen Geist, which was one of the ugliest boss I've ever seen in video games. This one also gave me Dark Souls vibe. After destroying 4 egg sacks with 4 machine guns and a truckload of shit, it really feels like the bitch died, but no, there she is again. Start hitting those red spots again. The last boss fight is really cool. You go through different phases and destroy each of your crystals to destroy the medallion, losing each abilities with each crystal destroyed. The ultimate goal of Blackstone was to destroy the medallion's power so it can't grow and destroy the world. I played the last boss fight on normal difficulty and here's why. There was a tank before going to the airfield mission. I didn't have any ammo in my Lycanphos because I used all of its ammo on that Geist bitch. If I could hit the tank with 1 Lycanphos, that would disintegrate it. So I kept hitting with my Panzerschreck and it didn't work. So I hit it with my Empower, it still didn't work. So I turned down the difficulty to Can I Play Daddy, which is the easy difficulty, and hit it with my Panzerschreck and it got destroyed. Still, it needed 2 hits with the Empower on. This was really annoying. I turned it up to normal difficulty and finished the game later. In the castle mission, Carolyn Becker was captured and shot by Dead-Set henchman, who appears at the last boss fight as Hans. This reminds me of Dead-Set from the New Order, where you had to choose for him who dies. It was really sad. Killing the shield enemies become a lot more easier when you get the Empower, which increases your weapon damage. Levels take place in simple locations like Cannery, Hospital, Castle, and more. Level designing is good and you also have the choice of exploration. The story cutscenes felt like 24 FPS animation you'd see on TV. I liked the supernatural abilities so much. It was totally different from the other Wolfenstein games. I still didn't like a thing or two, like the sprinting animation made my head spin in the beginning. I never thought I'd stop sprinting in a game for any reason. It took a level or 2 to get used to. Then the compass in your heart can sometimes get confusing. It's actually hard to navigate with this compass. It directs you to the exact point you need to go before moving to another location, which makes it all confusing. Despite the small issues and difficulties, Wolfenstein 2009 was literally an underrated title. That's all for today's retrospective review. As always, thank you very much for watching.